Could be a busy night tonight. So what I've done now, I think the last time I spoke, I was just looking at getting the buildings going. And I've been talking to some other people which are developing the games, and I'm going to still carry on with this. But when I've completed this, I'm going to use the code to make a direct copy of the basic version, so it will look identical and it will react in the same way. And then I'm going to enhance this one to make it sort of a, I think they called it jet fighter, so it'll be a jet fighter 2. And I think that will look nice. And then Mark actually said something about, we could release a Cascade 50 version 2 where everything's been fixed and improved. So just to show you where we're up to, the buildings are working. I had a huge amount of trouble in my head trying to sort it out to make the code concise, but it works. And this is the bit we're going to do today. You see those lines? I'm going to be setting that up to drop to go over the bomb, and that's the purpose of this stream. So just to show that this is dynamic, if you look at these first buildings, soft reset, 2064. There we go. So the first set of buildings are different, and it will change each and every time. So what I've done, I think I've got 5 different buildings. The intention will be that the hardest level will be a full width, the simplest level will be less. I am going to make, I think the building can go one bit taller, and I will make it a change of about 10 different buildings. One of them's using a character of, this character here is one that will happens when the building's starting to collapse. So, and this is just done through a table, so I'll show you the code for that, but we are getting there. So first thing is I'm going to, I think it's this I need to get rid of, because I'm going to, the code today, I'm going to do it completely separate and not have the running game, because then it doesn't get in the way, because at the moment it is. Think that's what I need to just remove. I'm sure it's in the building hit where I put that line in. There we go. And so that's something I've got to tidy up, the way that they start off over here and then they move. They should start off where they're meant to, but I think it's just the code's in the wrong place. So the purpose of it is we know where the map, what we've got to do is get the sprite of the bomb. We know, as we did with the plane, we convert the plane into an X and Y value of, oh actually it's 160, and because of less than 200, so less than 255, we want to convert the bomb location from its sprite position to one of up to 40 and 25 to 24 down, because that's where the buildings are going to be in here. That's their locations at the moment, and yeah, so we want to, and so then once we've got that in the X and Y position, we can then test the location of the X and Y of between 40 and 25, 40 across 25 down, to see if there's a building character underneath it. If there is, we get an explosion. If there isn't, it just carries on. Because at the moment it's just not testing it. So yeah, that's what that's what we're going to test today. The buildings. So first of all, when I did it, I wrote a routine for the first 2 columns going up, and then I was like, okay, finding out what gets repeated, and then and then decided that I needed to. I was trying a concept using a table. So forgetting about the skills, this is not implemented yet. The Y is actually from left to right, column 0 up to column 40 or 39. This will be changed by the skill, so we can reduce how much the left and right is going to be. We then, once I've done that, for each loop, we want to have a colour. And so we've got the random number generator choosing up from 0 to 15. It does a check to see if it's blue. If it's blue, it goes back, and because we can't have a blue building on a blue background, we don't want that. And that's the only colour we don't have. Otherwise, it stores it in the building colour, which I then use once I've doing the generation of the colour. This is next bit. This is the deciding which building we're going to have. So there's up to 5. There's up to 5. We could have building 0 to 4, but I just if it's a 5, it will if the random number is a 5, it regenerates. So this is saying give me a number between 0 and 4. I've added 1 onto it. I could have just, I suppose, called that BQT0 and compared it against nothing, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. That would have still worked. And I can't remember why I did this, but I think it might have been I like the idea of having a number between 1 and 5, and 1 being building 1, 5 being building 5, rather than building 0 being building 1. So I think that was just for myself. So once we get a number back, it decides which one we're going to use, and it goes to B5, well, whatever, say T5. And I've kept them just as jump routines because there's not much. You've got very limited on how much you can branch. I think there's 126 characters, I can't remember. But this way, it keeps it very minimal. And then within that type 1, it's the only bit of code that's repeated. And it took me a couple of weeks even just to get my head around how to write this. It's been quite painful, but it's very for me it's very clever. So whatever type you choose, we've got these preset characters, preset memory addresses, BFOO, BFOA, BF14. It's using self-modifying code, and so these types here relate to. I've put this down in here so I can have more, and they're all exactly the same amount of characters long, so I could easily work out where the start of each building was. And this is the base, the door, the windows, and then goes up to the roof. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does all 10. It doesn't care. Originally, I had it. The first character would be the height of the building, but for the sake of a few bytes, it was easier to do it this way and always make it the same. Because before, what I would do is I would get the in here I was getting this stuff where it's got the memory location, which was amending this because it would load this comma X, and I was actually getting it to read the first character and modifying this compare. But I thought, well, it's going to save a bit of code, and I just left it as being 10. I don't think space is going to be a massive issue with this, so I've left it. So it stores the memory location of the building at building memlock 1. Building memlock, which is this one, and then we've got the screen location. So so what this does, so we can get it to, I've put that in, we don't need it in right now, but I'm going to put other types of buildings in. So this modifies the code that picks up the right building, but we don't know where to put it. So the next bit is it goes into buildings routine. We're going to start off from the very first character in the table, and we're looking at X high and X low, and that I've moved into the animation only because it had other tables. So X high is there, C398, and C398 is the bottom row up one, the first column, bottom row -1. It's that location. So the first time it goes round, it reads in C398 and it stores it in this one. So this will load eventually. If we said it was type 1, it puts BF00 into here, BF00, and X is 0, so it will read the first character here, because that's BF00, it reads that one, and because it's done this for the screen location, it stored that in there. And Y, if you remember, was the column going across. That hasn't been modified, so that would also be 0, so it should store it in the first row. First column. And then it loads the building color. We've stored the building color at the beginning, and it stores that in, because this will also read from the next table down. This is DB98 is the same location for color as down here. So first column, one up from the bottom, and that's how I color it. And it keeps that color all the way through until it's read 10 characters. It will have read in the 10 characters 00 to 09, then it increases X, becomes A, and it says, oh, I've got that, and it's comparing Y now. Has it done all the columns, which is 39, because it's 0 to 39, and if that hasn't happened, it's not equal to that. It increases Y, so it goes to the next column across and jumps back to the beginning, which will then I'm going to sneeze, excuse me, display loop. So we don't need to load Y again, and we've increased Y to the next column across. We're choosing another color. It doesn't care if it's the same or not, because it's random. And then we go through the same process again, and that was the only way I could do it. So the only thing I couldn't do was this, and I bet you there's a way I can put that into a table, but it was such a brain fart for me to do that. I stopped. But the fact that we've got the same code with different memory locations makes me think we can do that. By putting these numbers BF00, BF08 into a table as well. Read that. Actually, there doesn't even have to be the table. It will be. In fact, I know I can do it now. Even by talking to you about it, I don't have to put. Whoops. That doesn't have to be star equals BF00. Can be. Well, we've got building type 1 to building type 5. I bet if I go... No, I'm not going to do it. But I think if we call that building type, all we would need to do is do some arithmetic based on the random number that comes back, multiplying that by 10, and actually you would multiply 10 by the number that came back, so it would be an ASL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and that would And that would be, I think we could do that. I'm not going to do it because, like I said, it was hard enough for me doing the other stuff. So for right now, what I want to do is we've got the generator, set up the cloud, generate the screen. I don't want to set up the cloud. I don't want to set up the screen. I think what I want to do is the sprite. I think the bomb is in the middle. It is. So the sprite top character, when it's top left of the screen, is going to be 5860. Actually, I do not. I don't even think I need to do that. I probably can do it with everything running. So in the bomb, I can re-enable that, and I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I ever did it very well. I think what I should have done is I've not done it like the plane. I've done it using the sprite number. So LDY, LDA, SB1Y, SB ADC 60. So that's going to be 3C. So we've got the so from the very top of the screen we've added 60, and then we want to shift it to the right. Wrong. To get it on the screen, it needs to be at 60. When we first see it on the screen, it wants to be at 0. So by changing it to 0 and then doing a 3 number modification, divide it by, it's 8, I think it is. So if the bottom line is 250 and a minus 60, divide that by 2, divide by 2, divided by 2, it's 23. That's not quite right then, is it? Oh! course it won't be, because I've taken off 10. If it is 50, if it's 250 minus 50 for the bit in the border, then divide that by 2 and 2 and 2, it'll be 25. But unfortunately, yeah, and actually that's what I want to do, isn't it? I think that's what I want to do. So 50. And then store that in BOM X ZP LDA SP1X. They got it as 8. I thought it was more than 8. Let's go with it. Oops. Should be Y. Bet I can so that character, which is a square, is 74. No, it's not. That's the decimal. It's 4A. So the load $4 hash $4A. Yeah. Oh, I wonder how I did it before. Let's just see if I get that. I'll put the numbers up at so when I fire that, I should get stupid fly's about to die. That's looking right. Well, I don't know why I'm getting a V and a W. Okay, so that looks okay, but so what I would need to do is to get this to do a lookup in much the same way as I did with the buildings. So your screen right low. So top left should be screen low, screen high. So if I LDX BY LDA so this will be plus and then we would load hash $4A, and we would store that in boob comma x, which means I need to so this will have the x position from left to right, and then we're loading the y position into y, and then we're loading from the table the low and the high bit and storing that in here, because that will be the position on the screen, the row on the screen with the x bit added on, and it will store that. In my head I think that's right. It's whether I've got these two the right way around, and I can check that. Because it's in the buildings. Memlock +2. So BF is the most significant. 00 is the least significant. Oh, so the most significant needs to be in the left. So that's +1. That's +2. Let's give that a bash. I want to kill that fly so bad. Screen low, screen high. Oh, what have I got? What's it called? Screen row low, screen row high. Screen. Oh, my dinner's ready. I can smell it. But this might be a good place to finish then. And let's see if I get that following on the screen nicely, or close to it. That's not far off, is it? Certainly in the right, we're right in the Y, in the X, we are two rows too high. And that's where that maths comes in. So I said, originally said 50, didn't I? 60. Bloody fly. Here comes my announcement.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Pizza. Alrighty. I have truffle and mushroom. What I'm going to call it now, because all it is getting this number right. And I don't know if I need to take more off or less off. And I can't remember which way round it is. So I'm going to give it one more go. We'll leave it. I'm going to call it a day there. And I am going to start writing all this up and put it into a blog like Mark, C64 Mark. I think I've gone the wrong way with it. I'll try once more. So I've gone to 32. Last go. And then that's it. Oh wow, that's pretty close now. I think it's the right height. No, it needs to be. It's gone a little bit too far. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there.